Good day, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And today I'll be analyzing the game between Gukesh and Nikolas. And we all know Gukesh. Gukesh is a world chess is the current world chess champion, beating Dengroni earlier this year. And Nikolas is also a strong chess player. He earned his GM norm in I think 2021. He's from Greece, as you can see. He's a grandmaster from Greece, and he's really strong. And we're going to be covering the game between both of them at the 2025 FIDE Grand Swiss. And before we go into analysis, please make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. It's helping grow my channel. And back to the game. Gukesh opens with e4. Theodorou Nikolas opens with replies with e5. We have knight f3, knight f6, knight takes e5, knight d6. He pushes his pawn to attack the knight. The knight retreats f3, and we have bishop e4. He takes the pawn. And we have d4, we have d5, we have bishop d3, we have bishop d6, we have castles, both of them have castles now, and it's just to improve. We have c4 attacking the pawn in the center. He's asking Nikolas, because he's asking Nikolas, do you want to trade the pawn? And you cannot trade the pawn if you take the pawn, you blunder your bishop. So just back to the position. What did Nikolas do? He plays c6, defending the pawn. And instead of taking the pawn and trading pieces, because Gukesh advances the pawn to c5 and attacking the bishop. The bishop has to retreat. We have bishop c7. We have knight c3. He's just trying to. He's asking Nikolas, do you want to trade the bishop? Do you want to trade the knight? And we have bishop f3 in defending the knight. And already see the twist about this game. Gukesh went knight g3. Now if you take, you have this already, and the knight is you have this, and it's just a trade-off, and you can move the knight to a silver square, or you can advance. Now what did Gukesh do after this move? Gukesh takes the knight. We have pawn c3. He takes the knight, and queen f3 defending the bishop. We have g4 already. Gukesh is trying to just complicate the position. He's attacking the bishop. Is asking, do you want to trade? Then we have a trade-off. And now we already know this is Gukesh is threatening mate. So the only way to stop, you can stop mate multiple ways. You can stop mate by pushing this pawn. You can stop mate through, but pushing this pawn will open different ways at which Gukesh can attack. So the safer option is for you to play the move that Nikolas played, which is queen g3, defending the queen, the square that defending the square that will lead to checkmate. And we have Gukesh trades. We have rook e1. We have knight a6. We have rook b1. He's just trying to Gukesh is trying to do. He's trying to put his rook on the files that are active. This file is already open. This file is about to open. Just one pawn that is left there, and it's soon open. And he's also attacking the pawn. Attacking the pawn on b7. He defends the pawn, and Gukesh plays rook b3. Just keeping everything tight. We have rook e8. What Nikolas is trying to do is trying to trade off one pawn. Trade off one rook to simplify the position. Probably is going for a draw. Just trying to simplify everything. He's playing against Gukesh, the world chess champion, trying to simplify everything, don't make anything complicated. Gukesh trades, and he plays rook a3. Now you would think he's blundering a piece, right? You would think he's blundering a piece, but at the end of it, he has Nikolas will have his knights hanging, and that is exactly what they did. We have the check. Gukesh moves and takes. Now at this point, if you play just any move, it's already losing. Now that is also because of the knight on g5. The knight on g5 is covering the f7 square and h7 square. So let's say you play a random move like this, then already what Gukesh should do, Gukesh should play this move. and now you are stuck because you want to defend checkmate and you want to defend your bishop. And what you have, and this is virtually impossible, is that you get checkmated or you give up your bishop. Now Gukesh knows, sorry, Nikolas knows this, and he plays bishop d8, attacking the knight and winning tempo. The knight has to retrieve, and he moves closer. Gukesh takes the pawn. Nikolas also takes the pawn on c5. We have knight c2, attacking the pawn on c6. We have bishop f3, f6. Then we have check, taking already that this move already attacks this both pawn, and he takes with check, moves, and he retreats back to a7. Still, this is a drawn position. This is 100% a draw position. We have trade, checks, moves up, checks while taking the pawn, moves closer, checks, and we have a trade. Now, at this point, Nikolas has two pass pawns. Both of them they both have pass pawns. Why Nikolas has two connected pass pawns. Gukesh has two that are unconnected at the A and E file, right? And it's just at this point, it's more about who can get to coin first. But already the computer is still saying this is a draw position. This is 101 draw position, meaning that you leave this game at this particular point to two very good computers to be draw, right? But these are not computers. Grandmasters are not computers. You have to play it out, and you have to prove that this is not a draw until it gets to a draw. Now, he starts pushing his pawn. Nikolas starts pushing his pawn. Gukesh plays f4. Nikolas plays d3. Still, the position is still equal. Gukesh plays rook a6, and we have c4 rather, defending the pawn on d3. Now, Gukesh next move, we just summarize everything. Gukesh plays rook a7. Now, the move you're supposed to play here is king f2, because if he decides to push the pawn, so if he decides to give a check, and you move here and decides to do like this, he cannot actually do like this because you take the pawn, right? So that is why that move is very, very, very much critical. That is why that move is very, very critical. Sorry. But instead, Gukesh gave a check, right? And so Nikolas moves backwards. He gives a check again, moves forward, gives a check. He's trying to repeat position. Gives a check, moves forward, gives a check, moves backward, gives a check, moves forward. I think what Nikolas is trying to do is, they are playing up with time, right? And he's trying to he's trying to reach the 90-minute mark. Once you reach 1 hour and the 8 minutes. Once you do 1 hour and the 40 move mark. Once you reach 40 moves, you'll be given 30 more minutes to your time. That's what he's trying to do. And at this point, he has gotten it. Now he moves closer to the pawn. And Gukesh attacks and prevents the pawn from moving forward. Nikolas gives a check and pushes the pawn. Gukesh retreats back. Nikolas defends the pawn. Gukesh tries to push his pawn, and Nikolas just plays rook c1. Finalizing the game. At this point, nothing can be done. The game has, it was at this point that Gukesh resigned. But let's imagine if he didn't resign. Imagine if he pushed his pawn, and already Gukesh will have this check. It was at this point he resigned. It was at this point that the game finished, and Gukesh lost to Nikolas. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment, make sure you share with your friends, make sure you share with your loved ones, make sure you share with those that are in love with chess. And thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.